Welcome to the group chat with Tara Thomas and Amanda Goodman of Faith and Four Letter Words.
Happy Wednesday. We made it to the 17th episode of the group chat. I can't believe it. I know.
That's crazy. It is February 18th.
Seems like it's been years.
I know. It is February 18th. It's Wednesday. It is Ash Wednesday for all of you who celebrate it, including myself. It's going to be Lenten season starts today, so I have to go, and it's the most humbling day because you kind of get chills because when they put the ashes on your forehead, they're like, remember you were dust, and as dust you shall return. But as a kid growing up, and we'd go to school mass, you had to like, who am I going to? Because I mean, some of these priests would put like the palm print, you would just have your whole forehead covered. And back then it wasn't.
What are you giving up for Lent?
Well, I'm offering up more. I'm offering up to be more intentional with some time and some things. Okay. I am giving up eating out. Like I eat out. I DoorDash too much at work during the week.
Oh, sure.
So I'm trying to be
more mindful about like not being as, what's the word? Sometimes like we lean into our luxuries.
Yes.
More than,
I mean, I should be like packing, I should be packing my lunch, but I'm trying to be more like devout with my faith, more, rather than, last night asking my kids, like, what are you giving up? And it's like my husband, I already had to remind him, like, tomorrow, don't eat meat. He's like, I mean, like, they're so, come on.
What's good is a lot of restaurants accommodate the season of people only eating fish on Friday.
And the Culver's fish.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw a commercial yesterday for that.
The Culver's fish, when I first moved here to the Midwest, and we've never had Culver's. And so it was like a Friday in Lent, and someone said, you should try their fish. I'm like, I'm not getting fast food fish. Oh, that fish is fire.
It's hard to beat Culver's, especially any place that puts butter on their buns is a good place.
It sounds like an album
the butter
cover.
burger, butter on my
buns.
So all week we've been enjoying this warmer weather. Yeah. However, yesterday was very windy, and it was not, I mean, you know how it is when you're driving at night, especially on the open road. Oh. And you're gripping the steering wheel. So we played Western Dubuque last night, and what a nice school. And we actually were there more than once for shows in that area. Yes. So the guy who was the announcer for the game, during the game announcer, he recognized me and was really nice. And I think I was trying to remember which show.
Asbury.
Was it Asbury?
Maybe
no, it wasn't Asbury. It was the one where we came down the staircase, I think.
Oh, then that was
that Epworth? No.
Lawler was down there. There's been so many. I know.
I don't know.
I don't remember which
it could, whatever.
West Union.
Okay.
West Union was the staircase.
Okay. So I think West Union, because he was so nice and was so happy to see me. And then we were laughing because, of course, my husband is quite vocal. So this was the most hilarious part too. So Western Dubuque, they were a good team, and we actually went into overtime. And the funniest part was, during the timeouts, during overtime, the songs they were playing, I mean, it was hilarious. It was like they played Sweet Caroline. They played Take It Easy, classics. But then the very last timeout, when there were only 47 seconds on the clock, they played that slow song by Don Henley. And so like, it was hilarious. So I turned to the moms and I was like, girls, get your partner. This is our last dance.
Couples are slow. Couples are backstage. That's interesting because at our home games, one of the dads is in charge, and he is our generation. So he's playing.
That's fun.
We have like Hip Hop Hooray. He always gives.
That's a classic.
He always plays Motown Philly and gives like a little head nod. But we have the old school. But I did laugh because Western Dubuque, amazing people in that school district. Yeah. I had angered that school administration at one point, and I'm not apologizing for it. So I did feel bad for Tara because last night when she walked into the game, she had texted me. We text like all day and all evening, and she's texted. She said, I think some people are like looking at me like, I'm not sure if they think I'm you.
Well,
and so I'm like, I'm so sorry. And she's like, I don't care. I love it. Like it was,
it's, look how good she looks. If people think I look like her, it's a compliment.
Sweet,
so I, at one point, how you just look over and then you see, and then you make eye contact. And so then I had to say to myself, okay, it's either they think they recognize me or that I'm Amanda, or my husband is just extraordinarily loud. And so they're looking over to see who is that obnoxious person.
Okay. I understand there's a referee shortage. Let me preface. I understand there's a referee shortage. I understand that sometimes there are people that really, really cross lines. But as a referee, I come from the era of like my dad coached for
People
years.
just trash talk.
Well, no, you can't have rabbit ears. Like you can't have rabbit ears. Like my dad would know every ref by name. He'd be like, "Come on, Freddie." What I mean, come on. Like my dad, like
Freddie.
So for me, like last night, like there was this referee that was just like, at some point, hang him up, man. Hang up the whistle.
Who did you guys play?
We played Jessup. Jessup,
Okay.
It was our first round of playoffs. Jessup won. Great game. Congratulations to all the Jayhawks
She's
out
talking
there.
girls. So
Girls
her daughter's
basketball.
a senior. My
Girls.
son's a junior.
Basketball is not my daughter's sport. Like it's not. She went out. She played freshman, sophomore. Did not play junior year. She went out for senior year. Really,
No,
just
it's good. Plus,
just to
it gets her
appease
in
me.
shape. Right?
Yeah, it gets her ready for soccer season, which is her thing. But there are some refs that you're just like, what are you doing? So I embarrassed my daughter at an away game because I was just like, you got to make that call. And I was yelling like, you're out of position to make that call. Like I sounded like drunk shooter from the movie Hoosiers. But I was explaining to my daughter, like, I don't go to games and watch as like a basketball game. I don't go as a mom to watch a game. I very much go as a player and I go as a coach because I coached back in PA and, I coach fifth grade now. But I mean, it's like, first of all, you got to learn how to you got to hear some stuff. You can't have rabbit ears. And now if it crosses the line, I understand that. But if you if you suck, you suck. Like, I'm sorry, not everyone can be a referee. It's like not everybody can coach. Not everybody should be a referee.
So a couple of things. The officials, I will say, for the Western Dubuque game last night, I thought they were some of the best we'd had all season.
Okay.
They were very fair. They had jovial attitudes. One of the calls that my son had on him, and I don't think he was being rude. I mean, I watched him and he just said, why did you make that call? Or he talked to the ref.
Which is fine.
And the ref was really, really kind to him. And he kind of laughed and he like patted him on the butt, And so, I mean, I thought that was a really nice interaction. And yeah, I mean, and then that in contrast to Saturday, we played Ankeny Centennial at home, and one of the refs told a player to shut up. And so, I mean, it was quite a pendulum swing.
Do you think, like, this is my thing, when some of the refs come out, I feel like they all have Keebler syndrome. We talk about this in the show. Some of them very much, they come out and they're like, and I'm like, you're the ref. Like, why are we?
There's definitely an element of like wanting to be seen because the ones who have the more demonstrative hand movements, you know, like you want to, it's like,
you're in trouble when you get the ref that comes out and they've got like they got like the tracksuit on top of their referee uniform and they come out and they're like zipping it off and they're the hard chew gum and they're like, it's just, you have to understand, like, I come from a family where my dad was thrown out of more games.
I believe it.
Than like, I mean, he was very much like Gene Hackman's
passionate
character. He was Gene. I mean, my dad, I will never forget this. My dad coached at a Catholic school. And the priest of our home parish, Father Mahoney, would sit behind the team bench. Right?
Oh, gosh.
So you would think Father Mahoney would keep my dad in check. No. So my dad gets up in the middle of the game, takes a check, throws it again, throws it, like does the Bobby Knight across the thing. And Father Mahoney is behind him just laughing. He got the biggest thought. I mean, he would egg my dad on because
that is funny.
It was very entertaining.
Well, the poor Western Dubuque student section, they had a lot of students there, but they had two administrators sitting in the front row. And so let's just say it stifled their ability to do much, right? Because you know how kids are. And I think there's obnoxious kids at every school. So definitely some might be more vocal than others, but all the kids nowadays are obnoxious.
Well,
right?
I just find that funny that like many, many school districts across Iowa, because I see it everywhere. And let me smile when I say this in like a Cheshire cat kind of way. Like, we're very concerned what our students say at basketball games, yet we're not concerned what's done or said to our students from adults.
Oh yeah. Oh gosh. Isn't that the truth? I mean, and it's so,
let me stop there.
Well, and
You know
part
what I
of
mean?
that is because that's something they feel they can control. Whereas sometimes with adults, there's that feeling of like, well, I'm friends with that person. So
Yeah.
isn't that weird how that happens? And the one thing that we have learned, and I think any of you working in any industry will relate to this. If you are a supervisor and you think you're going to become friends with the people that you supervise, everything's everything's swimming or going along swimmingly until there's something that happens where you have to take disciplinary action.
Mhm.
And then all of a sudden the person's like, but dude, we're friends.
Oh.
No, because that's the part that's tough. So
Oh.
it just word to the wise. I mean, be careful if you are friends with the people you supervise, because
You can't be.
because if and when something goes sideways, that's when the relationship is in an awkward position.
It's a very difficult thing. And that is probably I was in that experience where I was trying to be friendly
Same.
with people, and I was
Same.
taken advantage of. And then I was made to be this XYZ, and
Yeah.
I should have just done the hard line in the sand. And, but I was trying to overcompensate because, we were managed by such,
correct. So we feel like
you know.
we felt like we needed to be the kinder, gentler versions
But
that we never had.
However, you have people who take advantage of that, and you have people who try to exploit you. I did want to talk about the noise of the day. News of the day. It is going around. I believe it's trending on that people are now calling it Nancy Guthrie fatigue.
You knew this was coming.
Yeah, and it's just because we are on day, it's 15, 16 days, and the amount of coverage, and people are kind of saying, we talked about it on Monday, people are saying, okay, enough. Not that her missing does not still, that is like, it's terrifying. It's gut wrenching. Cannot imagine for her family and friends, but the news cycle has to move on. And it is from the land of news. It is unfair the amount of attention it's getting.
Okay, so you know me, I'm nose for news. That's
Yes.
I think of that
You're a
because
news
I
nerd,
think
like-
our friend Chris Carter, I think that's what he calls his Instagram account, nose for news. We cannot, look away from the ambulance chasing in a sense because we were just conditioned. So do you remember when was it Elian Gonzalez was
Oh yes.
removed in Miami to
Yes.
be sent back to Cuba? So
Wow,
around
that was-
that time, my family was on vacation in Miami. And so, of course, we had to drive to the neighborhood where Elian's was taken. I wanted to
Really?
drive by the scene.
did?
So,
Okay.
and I remember it well. So similarly, I'll be in Tucson in March, and I will be going
Going to the
to
site.
get to as close to it as possible. So I
Yeah.
will report back
It's going to be very eerie.
the first person account. Now, I don't know how much they still have cordoned off, but the way that those neighborhoods work or are laid out in that part of Tucson, it's very much isolated, kind of winding roads that go back into these very serene and very protected lots. So I may not be able to drive up closely, but of course, I'm interested to know proximity wise, like where is it in relation to Airbnbs and places we've stayed?
It could be quite.
Mhm.
It could be
Really
quite. That's
close,
going to be
yeah.
really, really interesting to
Yeah.
hear that. And I am counting the days, not to switch gears, but I'm counting the days to spring break. And we're not going to say anything where
I
we're
think we
going,
both
everything,
are.
but it's like I just need a timeout, and it's just this weather just changes. It just completely changes you. But we're about to get whiplash because there's more snow in the water.
I heard. I'm not even
On-
looking at the forecast.
Don't.
Because
And-
someone said that they were like, well, it looks like it's going to be a terrible weekend. And then whenever you hear that, you're just like, oh,
Wah, wah.
Yeah, yeah.
Because how fun was it to grill out? First of all, it means I don't have to cook. Because I'll be like, "Does everybody feel like grilling out?" And everyone's like, yeah. And it's like, get to work, dear. Go get your
Enter Chef
utensils.
Hector.
So tonight we have back on the road. We are in Ackley for the third time in Ackley, and we are switching it up. If you've been to our show, we have to keep some of the meat and potatoes the same because it's the moments that, and we never tell it the same way. And that's what people, find interesting. I got a message the other day and someone said, do you and Tara go off a script? And I will tell you something. When we first did our first show, 3 years ago?
Mhm.
And we were in Dyersville, we had note cards. And on these little index cards, we had the topics. I had the topics broken down, I think 6 or 7 different things. And so then I knew okay, we're gonna hit this topic. And then so the next show is in Manchester and my parents are there and I left my note cards in the car and they were kind of like locked in the, and I was like, Dad, go get my note cards. I can't like, and he couldn't, very long story short, he couldn't get at the note cards. And I was panicked and Tara looks at me, she's like, we're fine.
You don't need note cards.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's our, because it's our story.
It's our stories. And the one thing that's so fun is every show, depending on what, sort of how the mood strikes us, it can take us in some different directions. And so, yes, if you would love to join us, or if you would like to join us, we would love for you to be at the Ackley Recreation Center, their country club, tonight from 6 to 8. And then if you would like to buy tickets, the guy, I think Kurt, who's so nice, who's the one that's kind of been the organizer of the show, he had emailed us yesterday, and you can buy tickets only online though, all the way up until showtime. So if you decide at 5:00 you want to head over, you can still grab a ticket. So just go to our website, faithandfourletterwords.com. And there's a link right there on the homepage that takes you to the ticket links for upcoming shows.
Yeah, we're really excited. We are very excited for tonight, especially with the nice weather. Come out. I have to tell you something. And like you've had a high schooler graduate and go off to college. And I wanted to tell you that, so I was in my feelings. I've been in my feelings a lot, as you can imagine with a high school senior, but I had the shift recently. My excitement for her, because she's my little best friend. So my excitement for her to have this next step in life, to like step into like adulthood, to go find her people, to go, you know what I mean? It is now taking over. Like I have the excitement is now,
Yes.
I mean, I may change again in May, but I mean, it's weird. And I don't know if that's like divine intervention. Like, so like God's like, let me let you go a little bit. Like, but it's a real, and you told me that was going to happen. Like you told me that, hang on, you're going to have this.
Yeah. And you do, you get to a point where, and this is where I'm at with Charlotte. I mean, we go sometimes multiple days where we don't talk. And then I'm happy because then I know that she's just in her world and living her best life. And I want her to not feel like every day has to be like about, this like check-in, because she's an adult now. I mean, she's 19. And so,
Crazy.
So you just you let go of the feeling of like, almost, but I never have been that helicopter parent. So, I mean, it's not a huge shift for me. Now, my son, I'm a little bit more hands-on considering I was down there this morning, helping like pick up laundry. And that's my husband's big thing is like, stop bringing up his laundry. So I sometimes just now leave it in a pile, but I do put it all together in a pile.
We do treat our,
we can't help it because our sons are just, they're the boys that are just so different in our relationship with than the girls. I mean, it's just, you can't explain it. Unless you have a son, you can't explain it.
So yesterday we went to a basketball game. Nico was staying home. He had some homework and stuff to do, so he didn't come. And because one of our dogs had an accident inside the house after school. And because he did that, I rewarded him by door dashing Taco Bell.
Because he picked up the accident.
And like, everyone's like, okay, like knock it off.
Your prince has done one chore for the day. I mean,
let me reward
we can't
you.
help it though. And the thing that is funny, when you have a boy, and we've talked about this many times, you would think that the boy would be given the grace of like, oh, he can handle himself. I feel like the boys are more vulnerable than the girls.
Well,
I feel like the girls are more mature and assertive.
I feel like, and I'm not saying our boy, like I feel like our daughters are very, very tough because we have raised them in our likeness. Like my, if you look cross-eyed at any one of my daughters, it's on. Like it's on. Like they are very much, like me. But for something, because I think I know how girls are and how women are, so I'm very, very much like I can tell
so true.
I'm very protective of my son. Like as I'm just like this. It's like bubble wrap. Or if anybody does anything, I don't know. That's my job.
We can't. And the boy moms watching, I know you can relate. I wanted to go back to a post from our Monday live.
Okay.
Danielle posted something that I said, remind us to follow up on Wednesday. So I'm going to read it. Girls, I feel like a strict mom and have been told by parents and other kids' friends that I'm strict at what point do you let go? I feel like I'm protecting my kids from the evil of this world, and also feel like our kids are expected to grow up much quicker than I did. How to find the happy balance. P.S. I'm almost a 40-year-old mom. So thank you, Danielle, for that input.
I think it's really hard. The biggest thing I have found, and I'm not a parenting expert at all. I think we have to stop comparing our childhood to what's happening right now, because we had idyllic childhoods, and we grew up in a world that no longer exists.
Yeah.
It no longer exists, right? We had the telephones that were attached to the walls. We didn't have social media. We didn't have the danger was in the world. We didn't know about it, because social media now, we know about everything the second that it happens because of that. And like, we didn't know. I mean, danger was still lurking and everything. I think it is okay to put your kids, you can put them in in like a little bubble, but you got to open the bubble out, because then we're going to be hurting them for later in life. If we're not preparing them, if we don't let them fall, they're never going to know how to get back up on their own.
Yeah, that's a good point. And I think that the strict thing is interesting because it's a generational difference. So my husband is like quite a bit older than me. So the way that he handles circumstances from a discipline standpoint, he's definitely more tough on our son than me. And I mean, that's partly because I'm much more of the Gen X, like kind of like, what's the word? Almost like
free range.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. You'll figure it out. And so I think for my husband, he's more the old school, like you should be doing the same chores every day and you should have a routine. And I'm much more like, okay, if you run out there with your shoes off, holding your socks and your shoes in hand to catch the bus, at least you made the bus. You'll put your shoes on when you get, I was like very laid back like that. And so whenever the rare times when my husband would be here in the morning, because all those years when our kids were in middle school and elementary and he was a teacher, he would be the first one to leave. And so if I were here getting my son up and then something happened where he had a PD day or the day off, he would always say, I can't believe you wait until the last minute to wake him up and get him out the door. He's like, that's so stressful. I don't know why you do that. And so I think for me, because I was always like laid back and just then
chill.
Then that translated to me being the easy one of the two of us. And so I definitely am the one who gets the text asking, hey mom, can I spend $25 on PS5?
Yeah. Oh, I get the text. I get the text all the time.
And I get we get the text when our husbands are in the home with the sons, but they're still texting us even when we're not there.
When we're on stage.
Then we're like,
Wednesday night.
Ask your dad.
He's sitting
Go upstairs and ask your dad.
I grew up in a strict house. Like, it wasn't like this fear base, but it was kind of like you were grounded, or things were taken away. Let me tell you something. I didn't learn anything from being grounded. I learned how to hide things from my mom and dad then. I learned like, okay, I'm not going to be late for my curfew anymore. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make curfew and then I'm going to sneak out the back door.
Oh gosh.
I became innovative. So my biggest thing, I think the most important thing that we can do as parents right now, and it's a fine line between parenting and friendship, is you got to be that parent that your kids will come to.
Yeah, that's true.
There is a meme that goes around social media, and I've shared it multiple times. It is, I never want to be that mom or like, oh my God, I messed up. I can't tell my mom. My mom's going to kill me. I want them to say, oh my God, I messed up. I have to call my mom. She's going to know what to do.
Yeah.
And that is why
a good distinction.
I tell my sister, it's funny, and God bless her. Hello, Kimberly, if you're watching. She's completely different now than she was in high school and college, right? Like, my sister, you talk about someone who will cut somebody. My sister will, and she was like 4'11". She's 4'11", so she'll like cut somebody. And then she turned into like this like super mom. And I don't know if she ever really shared like her high school and college years with her, like with the people that she knows, right? And that's fine. I came from the sense of I tell my kids everything that I did, because I want them to know there is not
You're
one
not
thing.
Perfect.
I'm not perfect. I made mistakes. I got in more trouble because I hid it. That's why. So my rule in my house is, tell me the truth and I won't be mad. Tell me the truth and I won't be mad. If you do something,
That's
But
good.
I think it is. I think being strict, you got to do what's best for your family, and you got to do what's best for your own home. There's no one size fits all. And I just want that woman to know, her name's Danielle. I, for one, and Tara, for one, not judging you. You parent how you have to parent. I was in Target the other day, and I hope I don't embarrass this woman, but I had our girls with us, and she had a daughter with her, tween, and I don't know what was happening, but I just heard the mom say, "You don't have your phone. I'm done. I'm done." Like she just got, and then the girl turned around, and I just wanted to look at that mom and whisper, like, "We are with you. We're in solidarity. Like we need less judgment. It is so, parenting is so hard.
It is.
And I think if we stop comparing, I think we just do too much comparison.
Yeah. And I mean, the other thing too, that is so true. It's like your children, one or the other, is usually like a clone of you or your husband in terms of personality. So I always say my son, he's the male version of me. And so, we laugh at the same things. We have the same sense of
Just very chill.
Yeah, just the way that we respond to situations. And so for my husband, that sometimes is a clash because it's truly oil and water. It really is. And Charlotte, our daughter, she looks a lot like me. And we have some very much similar qualities personality wise, but some of like her innate inherited traits are all my husband.
Okay.
I mean,
Yeah,
so it's really
I agree with
well,
that.
and good for her. She got the very lean and muscular legs from my husband.
She has all your good qualities, all your good qualities. Well, my husband and son are exactly the same. I mean, I call Hector Big Nico, and then Nico is Little Hector. Like they're the exact same.
Nico,
So when
I
they
love
get
it.
mad at each other, I was like you're arguing, and that's why
you're arguing with yourself.
and that's why like Lucci is very much like me, and it's like
yes.
I mean,
she is definitely your clone.
I said something to her the other day, and she does this to me. She looked at me. Let me give you. So she's 10, and she went. I said, you need to pick this up, and she said, why? I said, because I'm not picking it up for you. And she went.
She gave you.
She gave me the up down, and I said, first of all,
gosh,
I
love
invented
it.
that. You can't do that. Like I invented that. So I kind of laugh with them, but
Because you're like getting a dose of what your mom got.
I mean, to ground it, I couldn't cock my hip like we do it in the show. Like if I would stand there, you know how you stand there and you like put all your weight in one hip and you lean to the side.
Yes.
My mother would say, "Don't cock your hip at me." And I'm
Okay.
like,
I'm so glad you said that about the hip cock, because I saw something and I thought of you and I had to ask you about it. But let me read this quick comment. Amy Shannon, parenting is hard, all caps. And even though our goal is to get them ready for adulthood, it is a hard stage for moms. And it is because you're wanting to still parent, but you want them to gain their independence. And so it's a delicate balance for sure. So thank you for that comment. Okay. Love is Blind. I told you, I've sucked my husband into watching it. And here's what I will tell you. Did you see, and I know you did because I think you've already watched quite a few episodes, the most hilarious reveal? Because you know how they have the screens and then you can see the show.
this is why I watch.
Did you see that lady who was like posing?
Oh, yeah.
She
The
was literally posing. And I thought, like, it crossed my mind. It's awful, but it crossed my mind. Like, had she been a stripper at one point? Because she was like posing.
it was sensual.
like the beginning of a
And
pole dance.
So I made Hector watch it with me, and he's sitting there, and he was like, "Oh my!" And I was like, "Girl, bye! Like, what are we doing?"
Yeah, wasn't that weird?
It was very weird.
So that guy, my husband really liked. He's the one who's the foodie.
The bigger
and
guy.
he has a really good personality. The worst part is before they open the reveal. So this is the first time they see one another. So the premise of Love is Blind is you go in these pods and you anonymously date. So you only know their name, their voice, and what you talk about. You've never seen them. So when they pick to get engaged to somebody, then they do the big reveal. Well, what's crazy is this guy, he's just a bigger guy, but I mean, I thought he was a good looking guy. But what's hilarious is before they did the reveal, her quote was, "It's going to be fine as long as you're not 60 years old and fat." And then I thought, oh no, I hope that she doesn't think he's fat.
It's just watching people's like, but that's the thing.
They
Her
were the
expression.
only couple that I genuinely was unclear if she liked him, but but we're only up to the most recent couple was the guy who I thought the girl was nice. She seemed really nice. Her name was Jennifer, the brunette. We only got up to that one. Okay.
Just wait.
Oh, I know. It always goes sideways. But here's what's interesting. So I thought they had really good matches outwardly looking in, they all seemed like
Mhm.
they genuinely were happy when they did the reveal. Because I've seen many seasons where you can tell that they were like
Like
disappointed.
their faces.
Mhm.
Again.
Now the
I
soccer, the ex-professional soccer player is really cocky.
Okay. This guy on Love is Blind, and then we'll switch gears for a second if you haven't watched it. But like this guy, he's like, I would have gone pro if I didn't hurt my knee in high school.
Then
You won
then
them.
he said, I've been told like I've got a good shell. So he was like basically saying
So
he's been told that he
obnoxious.
was hot.
Like,
Now the girl that he got matched with, they were all calling her Barbie in the women's quarters.
she's very,
So
very,
she's
very, she was
She's
very
cute.
pretty. But you'll see, like,
Okay, don't tell me.
I'm not
haven't
gonna tell
watched
you. I'm not
it.
gonna say.
Don't
But
tell me.
I do not think that Love is Blind. I don't
No,
think it. I don't think like
because-
because you were never sitting in a bar and looking across, be like, that guy has a great personality.
And what we know now from we've watched the show for years, inevitably the person, if they don't find a physical attraction, they somehow my husband said this and it's true, it's almost like they find a way to make their relationship implode because they don't want to make it look like they're humiliating the other person and making it about looks, but they find a way to sabotage because in their minds they're like, well, I don't think that she's hot. I'm not going to say that because then I'll be vilified on social media. So I have to come up with another excuse.
I wish they would be authentic then. Like, just be honest. I would just be like, he's busted.
But it's sad because then in the reunion, everyone gangs up on you.
And I just wish they had different hosts. Like, I'm not down with like cliche.
Same. When they walk into the quarters and everyone swoons, like Nick is, the boy band star, and I'm just like,
you're
okay,
98 degrees, bro.
Yeah, and it's like I know, and I think it is kind of, and she always like they will say something. One of the guys like, I'm here because I'm ready to find my best friend, and then Nick will be like, that's very profound, dude. No, it's not profound. I mean, it's like so fake. So watch the show, and if you
and Vanessa's like, well, we're best friends. So
oh my gosh,
like, it's too
yeah,
much.
it is. It's way too much. And I always think about, even though it takes two, I always think about what about Jessica? Look at how you dogged Jessica Simpson. Okay,
and made fun of her.
Jean said, I saw a woman with whining kids. She was so awesome with them, not giving in. I approached her and told her what a great job she was doing. That's a really nice thing to do. And when we are in those moments, instead of just staring and, peering into somebody else's life, if, like Amanda said, if you had that opportunity to kind of say, hey, I've been there, you're fine, don't worry about it. I do think, especially if they're younger moms, I think that they feel the wrath of older people judging them. So it's nice when you can. Now my poor husband, I'm sure Hector's been in this situation. One time he was like fighting with Charlotte when she was like old and young enough to be in a car at like a Walmart. And then as he was like trying to like control her, some lady came up and was like, aren't you Tara Thomas's husband? So then he realized like, okay, everyone now, because of the blogging, I was making him more public. And so then he realized that he had like, he had to look over his shoulder when he was disciplining the kids in public.
My kids really don't misbehave with Hector in public because Hector's accent will get real thick and he sounds like Scarface. It's clutch, like his accent. He'll be like, okay. Like he goes, okay. And you're like, when he does it, you're like,
that is but like so funny. That sounds totally like him. He has a
very, very, his accent will get very thick when he's mad. And he has the look, like he's got the old school parent look, like the look like if the Gen Xers, we know like the look. Like our parents would just be like, and that was it. We're like, oh God, okay. He can still do it. He get like my kids.
I'm gonna get the wooden spoon out of the kitchen. Look.
But we always laugh because he also tells like story, like he'll give life lessons and stories.
Oh my God! Which you said you have a short attention span.
I have a very short attention
span. You're just like wrap it up.
Because I'm a news person, so I'm like, don't bury the lead. Like don't like tell me the most important thing off the top, right? If I want details, I'll ask for them. But just get to the nuts. Like land the plane. And then I feel bad because I have zero patience for long storytelling. Zero. And so he was telling a story last night, and it was like after like the playoff loss, and he's like talking to Gia. So he's getting it, and I'm like this. And I'm doing that. And then Lucci is behind him, and she's going, just mocking him. So I mean, our house is like
So he was
chaos.
trying to give a motivational speech, and Lucci was like,
and
seriously,
and
like,
Gia and
"No, I'm not having it."
she doesn't want to hear. And then Gia is very much like me. Gia is like, land the plane. Like, let's come. Like, I don't want it right now.
Okay, so my mom's watching Good Morning Joanne
Good Morning,
from Peoria,
Joanne.
Illinois, and she reminded me of this hilarious story. So when Charlotte was little, around three-ish, my daughter was like the kid who ran everywhere. As soon as she could walk, she ran, which made sense that she did well in high school and track. And one time with my dad, the best story is she ran away from my dad in a grocery store. And when he looked down the aisle to try to corral her, she looked at him and she grabbed a whole loaf of Wonder Bread and she squeezed the bread with all of her might. And she was just
How old was
squeezing-
she?
3.
3.
And we always bring that up about Charlotte. Remember when you
But the
were
rage.
squeezing the
What's
Wonder
it, the
Bread? Yeah, she was like, "Come get me, Papa." It was so we always. It's so bad.
That's
The
funny.
best
That's funny.
story with my parents with her. We would always meet at Coral Ridge Mall as our halfway point between Peoria and Waterloo. And so my parents then would want to go into the mall and take the kids to the place, the
Oh,
play area
yeah,
before
yeah.
they got back in the car. And so one time my mom said that there was this child who was like hurting or acting up with another kid. And she turned to the grandparent and she said, "I think you need to like go check your grandson
Uh-oh.
or something, something's happening
Yeah.
with these two kids." And then another person shortly thereafter says, "Ma'am, isn't that your granddaughter running?" Like Charlotte had breached the play place and was running down the, mall hallway
Mhm.
between the stores. And here my mom was like correcting another parent or telling another parent. And then Charlotte was like AWOL running loose in the mall.
Finding bread to squeeze it. You know what? That brings up a good point. That when your mom stepped in, that's the one thing I think our society lacks.
Oh, for sure.
Like if we saw, like growing up, if we were misbehaving in like the store and our parents, like in well, first of all, our parents always had a handle on it, but there would be a random person be like, "Hey, you listen to your mom."
Yes.
And
now,
then if you did that now, parents would be like, "Don't
they're
talk to
like
my
ready
kid
to
like
call
that."
the police on you,
Yeah.
or they're gonna videotape you and put you on social media and say that you're a Karen.
Yeah. See,
Right?
I'm down with it.
Like
Like
I've been a Karen before.
I
I
have-
told somebody who called me that, "You're right, I am a Karen today."
I am very much
I embraced it.
I am very much like when my kids are in the neighborhood and I'll text like my kiddo's friend, like, because what my kids will do is they'll like, I tell when the weather is nice, I'm like, stay outside. Don't go inside anyone's house, right? Because here's the thing, on a Sunday, nobody wants anybody else's kids in their house on a nice weather. You know what I mean? Because it's a day of rest. We're trying to chill. So I'm overly like mindful of that. I'm like, stay outside. So then I hear my one neighbor, my friend, she's texting me. She's like, "Is it okay if I, give them pizza? Like, I'm going to put a
That
pizza
was
in."
nice.
It's very nice. But I was like, and I'm like, did they ask you for lunch? Like, I'm immediately annoyed with my child. I'm like, I'm like, kick them out. Because I'm very much like, kick them out. I want my neighbors. I want my friends, parent my kid. Like, I don't mean like take care of my responsibilities. I mean, if they act up, if they're doing something, you go ahead.
It's great when you have those relationships with other parents where you trust them and you expect them to hold your kids accountable too.
Yeah.
So love that. And I have
They don't have that
some
exist. It
mom
doesn't
friends
exist
like
a lot.
that. No, it's rare these days for sure. If you have it, you're fortunate. Dave, when he was in the summer period during his teaching years, he was always home the whole summer. And so he was the playground monitor. He was the only dad that was out there half the time policing the kids because it was just a free for all. I mean, they were running in packs in our neighborhood.
And your house was like,
yeah,
the center.
he was always out there. And he finally said he would sometimes say, "Please go home. I just want to play with my kids now," because he had like
that's a tough thing.
yeah, because he was monitoring everybody. And so what's hilarious is he would always have freezer pops in the outdoor garage freezer. And then when the garage door was open, I mean, he would let kids, play. But this one girl, because her parents were very strict, probably with sugar, or they didn't let
Oh.
she would always
It's
be
Wheat
in the
Chex,
freezer.
84.
She'd
Yeah.
always be in the freezer getting out freezer pops. That girl
Same
probably
girl.
had 30 freezer pops like over the span of a few days.
I bet
know?
she
And
probably
I
is
was
like me.
good for her.
She probably only had wheat checks at home or rice checks. I mean, like,
Checks. That is
so-
so funny.
So yesterday we had my family, like yours, we have a group chat. We have a group text. And
Ours is called Getty Gang.
okay.
Isn't
Well,
that funny?
well, that's for yours. Like, what? Because you guys have a similar.
Oh, my mom and my sister and me have a group chat, and the kids named it the OGs.
That's so funny. Mine's the OG5.
It is.
Yeah, look at this.
Okay.
That's so
Oh,
crazy.
you and your parents.
My parents, the OG5.
Oh, that's
So here's
awesome.
what's funny. So we were talking. I have an older sister. and
OGs, by the way,
Oh.
for the older crowd, it's original gangster. So OG means we were the OGs
We were the
of
first.
parenting because we were the grandma or the mom.
Right. So my younger brother, my brother's 5 years younger, sister's 5 years older. I'm the middle.
Your
Explains
brother's 5 years younger.
Yeah.
I didn't realize.
it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And he and I.
My only sibling is 5 years
Yeah.
younger.
We're yeah. But we were talking about. So my sister is very very tiny now, but she was a little like round when she was growing up. So we would
At
laugh.
4'11", I can
4'11", she
picture
had
it.
nowhere. Like this is when she was really little, but this is why she was because so she
And now
played.
She's really thin.
She's very tiny. She played soccer when she was like young. And so I was like a toddler. And I remember this. And my dad, on the way to a morning soccer game, would stop at McDonald's, buy her Egg McMuffin, hash browns, and a large Coke. Okay. Because he was out of the house, like, and my mom wasn't watching. And then she goes, yeah. She goes, I ate that. She's like, then I'd have the orange slices during the hour-long soccer game. And after the soccer game, they would go to McDonald's again. And my dad would buy her Big Mac, fries, large Coke. And she goes, so if anybody wants to know why I was fat, that's why. Like she was eating like 2,000 calories before like 11 a.m. Like we were laughing about it. And I'm like, it's so funny because my dad always would sneak off to like McDonald's
That is
because
so
you had to get
funny.
away from like the wheat checks and rice checks.
Yeah, I got
House.
it. Yeah, to actually like eat
Can
what
you
you wanted
imagine?
to eat.
And that's when the Big Macs were like Big Macs.
So, oh gosh, I know. Now they're smaller. I swear. We've talked about that. So, Christy Sue said, did I just hear the wooden spoon? Oh my, me, my sister, and mom are busting out laughing. Katie said, I still do it. If your child is misbehaving, I'm going to correct them. I don't care. Get pissed at me. You're in the wrong. And good for her because that's the thing. We're not telling you, obviously, how to parent, but
No.
we also feel that there has to be some collective level of decorum that we expect to be executed in public life. So if a kid were cursing out his parent or being disrespectful, I think
Yeah.
all of us would react like, whoa, please don't talk to your mom
Don't
that
talk to
way.
your mom
You
that
know,
way.
like I think
See, you
that's
and
a
I have to be
natural reaction.
careful. Like
Oh,
you and I,
can't
do it.
if we did it, then we would be
We'd be front page. of, like, the
blasted. Now, had
newspaper.
we been doing it when we were anchors by the 5 o'clock news, we would have been told that
we would
were
have lost our jobs.
in trouble.
So, and that's why, like, when I did that, when there was an issue Lucci had with somebody, and I was like, I did that reel. I'm like, ask them if your mom can fight. I want to know if your mama can fight because that's the thing. Like, so I am old school. Like, I am old school. And then you have the Sicilian rage that it's like this pent up, like it's sitting here, it's bubbling. So I was coming out of a game a couple weeks ago, and I see the one of the girls that had been given issues to Lucci and some of her friends. I mean, and I was like,
You
So
gave
she's-
her the look.
I did. I was like, and I looked, I mean, I was like right, like probably like 10 feet from her. And I looked at Lucci, I go, that's her? Like right. So she heard me. I go, her. And Hector's like, okay. Because I can't, like, I am so like, my mother would have done the same. My father would have, my grandmother would have done the same. Like it was just,
It was like your instinct kicked in. And
you have to understand, like, and I had a very protective uncle. My uncle was very protective of me. And Uncle
And he's
Kenny,
since passed away.
he has since passed away, died of pancreatic cancer. Awful. But he would look at me and he was like, listen, like, and he would come up to games and I would tell, he knew everything about what's going on in my life. He goes, listen, you know, he's like, rule of life. He goes, you count to 10 to calm down. You count to 10. He goes,
That's good.
No, and he's like, you count to 10 to calm down. You swing on 3.
That's I've heard you say that before.
And it's the truth. Like, it's like, you know, you're like, I'm gonna be calm, I'm gonna walk away.
3. That is so
because
funny.
he's like, they'll never see it coming. I've used it a couple times. I've used it in my younger years.
So thanks for joining us on this fine Wednesday morning. I screenshotted something I saw on X that I thought was so interesting. And we've been talking about this over the past few morning shows. There is a huge shift now where because of artificial intelligence, the futurists among us, Elon Musk, probably the lead futurist. A futurist is somebody who is projecting how our society will change and the cultural impacts because of, in this case, the rapid pace at which technology is altering our day-to-day existence, both in our personal and professional lives. And we are at the cusp of one of the most incredible pivots or shifts, because AI, the more you put into AI, the better the outcome and the more rapid the results. And so when you think of a computer that keeps getting stronger and stronger, that's what's happening with AI. It's becoming something that you would be left behind if your industry was not looking at ways to use it to innovate. And sometimes, yes, save labor costs, which everyone has, an opinion about that. So the latest Elon prediction is going to blow your mind, because I have said this for the last few months, reading a lot of this talk, and I have said, woe to the people that are paying hundreds of thousands of dollars for these degrees that have complete and utter dependence on computers to execute them. So Elon's latest take is trades are not the vulnerable jobs. They're the durable ones. Physical presence, real world adaptation, manual dexterity provide protection no digital credential offers. Analyst, accountant, paralegal, programmer, anyone producing files and documents automates first.
Yes.
Because digital work is exactly what AI does natively. So I've heard this said before. I had coworkers in school districts where they would do all day. They would be updating kids' files. They would be inputting data. They would be doing lunch counts. And all of that is ultimately going to be automated. Now, how quickly we adapt it remains to be seen.
Well, I will tell you that I know multiple people from back home who have used AI to fill out all of their taxes.
Oh, that's such a good point. Now, I did use AI to help me with all of our business dealings, but I did find some errors.
Yeah.
So, I had to just say to the accountant who's going to actually fact check it, but that's really interesting.
Because it's that, and I don't want to say anything because, this is people's livelihood and stuff, but I know that they have saved thousands and thousands of dollars, and they used AI because they inputted everything in there, and it was
right.
And one was a very simple.
I used it too to summarize a lot of stuff.
It is. Listen, I have used chat to plan trips. And when we went to Italy, when people are like, who did you use? What travel agent? I think travel agencies would be out as well. And again, I don't want to say this to knock anybody's business, but I'm saying you can say last year, I'm like, we're going to Italy this day. Can you give me an itinerary? And Correct. It was to the minute. It was, you input we have some lazy people in my family who don't like to walk the time.
Because this is the part that people may not understand. It's a culminating outcome of every slice of information that exists on the World Wide Web. So picture the height of curation in the most efficient way is how, she was then getting these results. So I have to give a shout out to our friend Gina, who is a faithful viewer. She was very much resistant to AI because she's like a lot of people where you feel like, the robots are taking over. Well, I kept telling her, no, it just enhances your life in so many ways if you use it for good. And so she too, when she was in Italy, used AI because she would say, which restaurant should I go to? Or I'm in this area. I only have, a half hour or whatever. And so it's crazy the way that it can expedite and give you that information much differently than a traditional Google search, because you have to remember, and this can change, and with AI, it may already be changing, but you have to remember the difference. If you search on a platform like Google or Yahoo or a search engine, they have paid advertisers and companies, they have paid to boost their SEO, which means search engine optimization. So the reason when you Google Airbnb, that Vrbo pops up is because they've paid for that higher level placement.
So you go there
first. When you go to chat, it's not advertiser driven. So you're not going to have In-N-Out pop up over McDonald's or vice versa because there's no one paying to play. And so that's the difference. You're getting more of a raw and real take.
Absolutely.
But you have to pay. if you want like unlimited usage. So for me, I pay $20 a month because then I can have unlimited asks on ChatGPT.
Me too, because I use it for all the things. I do not use it for writing, and that's what's bothering me. And it's like, I can't, like, how many episodes have I said this? Like, I can't with the writing. Like, I can't, because it's what we do. So it's like, my favorite thing is when people say, you know, this is a telltale sign. When someone's writing like, you know, such and such, it's not a change, it's a realignment. And I'm like, okay, it's ChatGPT. Like, it's, you know what I mean? Like, or
but
clarity is the big word.
Replace writing in a lot of jobs. So isn't that sad?
Well,
I mean, it's a skill
what do you think of news? Sorry to interrupt, but what do you think?
I think they're using chat for news.
Well, I mean, like, do you think on-air talent will go away? I mean,
think,
some of it should.
Think supposedly, the rumor is some smaller markets are going to no anchors, and they're just going to have what we call packages, which are just
well, that's probably
a string
better.
Of stories.
The other thing is this. Speaking of that, okay, I understand it's the Winter
Remember
Olympics.
Max Headroom?
Yeah.
I'm old enough to know.
Yeah, since we are in the Winter Olympics, I look at the time real quick. Sorry, and if you see me looking at my phone, I'm making sure all of my children are out the door at school and dressed appropriately. I understand there's Winter Olympics, and you know, you always have these stations that do the shtick, like, let's make him go down the ski slope. Yes. Let's make him go down the toboggan. We did that,
and I hated it.
Stop.
I did cross-country skiing, and I hated every step of it.
Well, it's not about you. It's like, I'm so tired of all of these news anchors across the country making it about you and in your TikToks. I don't want to watch you get ready for work. I mean, like, I don't like, watch me get ready for work. Watch me go down, like, watch me bobsled. Like, I don't care. Like, that's the problem. It is we are such a me.
Everything is me. I mean, and then when you watch the anchors and then they come out of a story and they talk about themselves in relation to that story, talk about the subjects, talk about the person who overcame the illness, talk about the person who, you know, did some incredible feat, not you saying, oh, well, when I was in high school, blah, blah, blah. No, it's so weird how people are just now innately adept at turning the storyline around to make them the star.
Well, it's like when I texted you. I was at a high school football game in the fall, and there was a somebody from the regional news, you know, and he was doing this. He was like, and I looked. He was waving at no one. He was like doing that
crowd,
and no one was looking at him. And like, people had looked at me, and they're like, "Who is that?" And I went, "I don't know." Like, I don't, because I didn't know. Like, I don't know this person. And I was like, okay, like, simmer. What people don't understand, like, well, people will come up to us and it's very awkward. Like, I will, you know, are you Amanda Goodman? And I'd go like, or people say, you look familiar. And I'm like, uh-oh, because it's very awkward for me. I'm like, oh no, like, are you Amanda? Like, yeah, you know, I try to be very humble because I feel like I am humble. I don't want to say like, I'm humble. I feel like I am, but I'm so tired of seeing these local, like, if I have to see, and that's the rage on TikTok. Random, like, a day in the life or come get ready with me. And I'm like, wow.
Okay.
Like that, like, wow.
And also these creatures, these young people, I mean, we have to remember they are digital natives. They were born with all the electronics. And so because of that, we've talked about this before, they are supposedly going to be less adaptable to change in contrast to us, who went from phones attached to the wall to phones in our hands in the span of 20 years.
Oh, I mean,
so we uniquely understand what it's like to completely pivot, embrace new technologies, and have the world as you know it upended. Young people don't. They've always had an iPad. They've always had a tablet. They've always had a phone. So, I mean, think of how much that could be disruptive to the younger generations if and when they show up and say, oh, a computer is now going to do your job. Do you have the soft skills? Can you talk to people face to face? Can you do all the things that the Gen Xers mastered? Because we were forced to sell the Girl Scout cookies on our own. We had to go door to door and ask the neighbors that we didn't know sometimes if they wanted to buy Thin Mints or Tagalongs. Now we have a booth outside of, you know, of a grocery store, which is great. But for safety, mom is right behind you and she's checking that you made the right,
Well,
the form is right and you did the
well,
change
even
right.
worse.
We did that all on our own.
When we had to call somebody, like remember when you had to call your crush as a kid and the dad would answer the phone and you had to talk to the dad?
Yeah.
Like, so we
Now
literally
we don't even know who our kids are talking to. They've completely bypassed the need to involve the parents.
Yeah, and I don't
Seriously.
like it.
No,
I think
I
about
know,
it. Like
that's
we
true.
knew, like our parents were gatekeeping. Like, why is it? My dad came in the room one time. He's like, "Why is he calling you?" And my dad knew everybody because he was a basketball coach. Why is that punk calling you? And I'm like, well, you couldn't lie your way out of it. Like now it's your kids are getting Snapchats of like foreheads and ceiling fans, and you don't know who these ceiling fans belong to. Like it's just
so true.
But like, and I'm not trying. Like I am all about
that's
social media
hilarious.
and young people being creative, and anybody being creative. Be creative. But this is a general question. If anybody else, do you like these? Drop into the group chat. Like a day in the life of, or come get ready with me. And how is it? It's like get ready with me. Yeah, GRW. Like, and they put it and then it's like, then we have to see them waking up. Then we see them turning the shower on. And then we see them I'm like, what are we doing?
And
why?
I definitely watch some of this.
Is it ego driven though?
But in some ways it's like everything has become so staged that it's like once you've seen one get ready with me, you've seen them all, because they have to do, the sound of the cereal going in the bowl or the sound of the blender because they're doing a protein shake. I mean, we've seen everything now is contrived and it's been done. I like to see the people that have the unique or not trendy content, and it's so rare. I mean, everybody, and then the stuff that looks like it's, like we captured this unexpectedly, it has to be staged. It's very staged. And so you can tell when they're overacting now.
I want to say, that's why I think you and I blogged, because I wanted to blog to let people know, like behind the lights and the cameras and everything, it is so chaotic and it is so messy.
It's true.
Like, behind every family photo where everyone looks like they're carved from cream cheese, as a mom losing her mind, she's threatening the kids to smile. The husband doesn't want to be there in the picture. Like, that's what I want to see, because that's what's relatable. That's what's relatable, not this, but you will never see me do like a come get ready with me. Like, no. No.
Yeah. It's something, it's hard for us. Critical of the younger generation of news anchors, because we had to toe such a professional line right out of college. I mean, at 22 years old, we had to have reverence for the older coworkers.
1000%.
We had to get corrections on the spot. I mean, people would chastise and correct you in front of everybody, like rewriting your stories, telling you. And now it's like the only people that are doing the corrections are the audience. And then we don't even know if they cared, got the message, or made the correction. I mean, I saw 2 typos the other day on stories, and I just remember thinking, like, if I had had 1 typo, I would have been embarrassed.
There was the local paper. The local paper was honoring one of, like, when they do the athletes, who are the high school athletes of the week. And they, a girl,
the wrong sport.
Yeah. Gia's teammate, the wrong year and then the wrong sport. They said she was a boys bowler. She was girls basketball. And as people were like, oh no, it's no big deal. Yes, it is a big deal. Like, I was coming from
one time when they may be honored. Mm-hmm.
It's called journalism. It's journalistic integrity. It's fact checking. I mean, even like,
but they're the spell
wrong.
check generation. They've had everything corrected for them. We were literally, I was pulling out Webster's. I mean, I have this very haggard, Webster's dictionary that I always had by my desk at work, and I would pull it out to verify the spelling. Now, if you said dictionary and you physically had one, people would think you were crazy.
I remember Ron telling me a story that he had corrected somebody, and he did it in a very gentle way. He was like, hey, you might want to check the pronunciation of that town. The kid said the town wrong, and the kid responded, and he was he's a young journalist. He responded, he goes, I'm good, thanks. No, you're not. You mispronounced the town. You mispronounced the town. Like, I don't think newsrooms, if I walked into a newsroom as a consultant level right now, I don't think they would be able to handle
They would not be happy to see either of us coming, because we would be brutally honest, which is what we need. We need a dose of reality from the older and wiser ones among us. It's 7:58.
It is 7:58. Well, since it's a very different 4-letter word today, I'm going to go with Lent. And if you are practicing Christian, if you observe Lent, and if you don't, just look into it. It's kind of like a good season to press pause and to get ready for, a rebirth. Really, it's like you can change, you can do anything, and this is the season to make the change. So that's
Good
my
advice.
4-letter word.
Our verse of the day comes from 2 Timothy chapter 4, verse 7. I have fought the good fight. I have finished the race. I have kept the faith. I love that verse. It's so powerful because at the end of our lives, we hope and pray that we can feel at peace, that we've fought the good fight and finished the race respectfully. And so however that race that you're running looks for you, know that, the road is long, but the rewards are many if you stay faithful.
That is some great advice. Thank you so much for joining us on this Wednesday. Again, we are in Ackley, Iowa this evening. We're so excited. There are still a handful of tickets available. So it is the ultimate girls' night. It's kind of like the night you never knew you needed. So grab your friends, your sisters, your moms, women of all ages. We look forward to seeing you.
We'll see you there.
The group chat is brought to you by the empowering staff at Middle River Cabinetry and Splendore Medical Spa.